Hello, this is JB, and today I'm going to talk about why I moved to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I've been in Green Bay for 7 years almost now. I came in May of 2018. It's February of 2025. And before I came here, I was working in Alaska. I'd been there for a year and a half or so. In Dutch Harbor, Alaska. I was working at Westford Seafoods in Alaska. In the seafood processing industry, you work up to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 months, and then you have like a month and a half off, and then you come back and you do it again. So, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 months, and then you have some time off, and then you come back. And working 18 hours a day in a fast-paced environment that's very stressful and very loud and very uncomfortable because it's wet and because the work is very difficult and it's very fast and repetitive. Always a lot of problems. Machines break down, things go wrong, things get mixed up or lost or confused, or it's hard to communicate because everything, like I say, is so loud. Um, and then after you work the 18 hours, 24 minus 18 equals 6. And so there's only 6 hours to sleep, to eat, to shit, shower, and shave. And so there's not much time for anything else. I made time, so during my 6 hours, sometimes I would study, so I would take online classes just for fun. I would read. I would call my family or email my friends or get on Facebook. Uh, Sometimes we drank alcohol, had a few beers. That was usually when it was shorter days. But there just wasn't much time to do anything. Every once in a while, there's like a couple of restaurants there. They're expensive, but there's a couple of restaurants there and a couple of bars. So every once in a while, we would go to those places. But usually I didn't. Very rarely I did. And I wanted a place where I could have a normal life, like everybody else lives. Where you go to work and then you go out to eat or go home and eat. You go to a sporting event or a concert or do something else. Go to church, whatever, or go to some other kind of event, and then you relax at home, watch some TV, YouTube. What is the thing? Some streaming service, and then you go to sleep. And you have your place because in Alaska, if you work in the seafood processing industry, you normally live at the property of the place where you work, and so you have your own room or you share a room with other people, but it's not yours. Somebody else owns it, and if they fire you, you lose this place. And since you work for them, they have some control over how you live and what you do. And it's nice to just have your own place and be able to do whatever you want. God, don't freak though. So basically, what I did is when I finally got tired of working there and dealing with all the problems and the things that go on in that kind of manufacturing environment, I decided to leave. And for about a month, I went to Nicaragua and hung out there because it's very cheap. So I stayed at hostels for like $7 a night or whatever, and went to beaches and volcanoes and traveled all over the countryside and ate out every meal because it's really cheap there, a couple dollars, and just had a really good time. And then I went to Mexico and I stayed in Ciudad Juarez, which is on the border of El Paso, Texas, in the state of Chihuahua in Mexico, and that's a dangerous place. But I stayed there because it's cheap and it's close to the United States, and so I kind of basically just mapped out my next plan. And what I did was I made like a study, And so I picked uh, the next city where I was going to live. And basically, what I did is I looked at every city and town in the United States and considered all of them. But I used a bunch of different factors to choose the place that I wanted to live. I looked at like the size of the city, location, how easy it is to get there and leave. So like transportation, buses, trains, airplanes, that sort of thing. And then transportation that they actually have there, climate, kind of jobs they have there. Because at that time I was working in manufacturing, mostly food processing. Um, they have educational institutions, things to do, um, sports, uh, just basic quality of life. Um, and it came down to, I think I had like 6 or 7 cities. I can't remember exactly all of them right now, but Omaha was one, Nebraska. Salt Lake City was one, Green Bay, Wisconsin. There was Lynchburg, Virginia, Knoxville, Tennessee, some other places. Um, and I chose Green Bay because uh, Green Bay had jobs in the industry I was working. It uh, is a place that I could get to pretty easy because it's not too small, it's not too big. It's a good sized place. They have public transportation. It's not the greatest, but it's good for the size of the city. There's water here. There is there are trees. It's very very nice in the summertime. Green, beautiful place. In the wintertime it sucks. Like right now there's a lot of snow on the ground. It's very cold. Maybe 10 degrees or something. I don't know. So it's not too fun in the winter. But the city of Green Bay, when I moved here, the cost of housing was very low. You could buy a house for $50,000. Now you buy the same house for 250, but you could buy a house for 50,000. Um, they had jobs that were a lot of union jobs. They paid reasonably well, um, or relatively well. Anybody could find a job doing something that could make enough to pay for an apartment or house. Um, and the Green Bay Packers are here, the NFL football team. So everyone uh, is by default a Packers fan. You kind of have to be. I mean, there are of course people that like other teams, and that those other teams are their favorite teams. But most people are Packers fans here, and even if they're not Packers fans, they still at least know what's going on with the Packers, because you have to. Like if you're at the gas station and you talk to the man or the lady there, oh, how's Jordan Love doing? How's Aaron Rodgers doing? How's the wide receiver or whatever? So you kind of have to know like what's going on, or how was the game? Oh yeah, the game was great. Did you see that call? The referee screwed it up real bad, or whatever, and just be able to talk. And so, but it kind of brings people together because, like, everybody of all backgrounds, rich or poor, um, race, religion, where people are from, everybody is kind of wearing green and gold, and supporting the team. And a lot of people have season tickets, or some people do, that have been passed down in the family, and other people, go once a year if they can afford it. And there's like practices and training camp and off-season workouts and all that stuff. So there's opportunities to watch the team that you end up supporting, and so that the team kind of brings people together. And there's like a culture, I guess, of football. There's several different kinds of cultures in Green Bay. There's religion. A lot of people are religious. There is a drinking culture. Like, I'm not sure about this, but I think there are probably more bars than churches in Green Bay. I mean, there's a shit ton of bars, and people drink. That's just what they do. and there's like this tradition of fish fries on Friday, and a lot of people are outdoors. They hunt or they fish, or they like to go up to their what they call a cottage. It's like a cabin or a shack in the northern part of the state. So there's like a kind of a culture, and it's interesting. And so I came here from Ciudad Juarez, or I mean, I guess I picked Green Bay, and then I just came here on a bus, the Greyhound bus through Texas. I remember stopped in Dallas, and went to the site where the 36th president was killed. Um, President Kennedy, I think he was 36, but 35. But I went there, but then eventually I got up to Wisconsin, and I had an Airbnb for a couple of weeks, I think 3 weeks, with these nice people who they're still my friends. I don't see them much, I don't talk to them much, but they're my friends. And I stayed at their house. It was like maybe $30 a night, $20, $30 a night. I stayed there for like 3 weeks, and then I found very quickly I found a job at JBS, the meatpacking plant, and then I found an apartment right after that, and I stayed in the same apartment for almost 7 years. It was in a very old house built in 1867 that was turned into apartments. Um, Not the most luxurious place in the world, but it was fine because it's very small. My apartment was very small. It was like an efficiency or a studio, and my rent was relatively inexpensive. I think my first rent was like $450 or $465, and it went up to $525. I think by the time I left. So it wasn't too bad, especially when you consider in other cities you might pay like $1,000 or $1,200 for a studio apartment, or if you go to New York or LA, it might be like 4,000 or 6,000, or Boston, Miami, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000 for a piece of shit tiny apartment. So it was fine, and I could pay my bills, go to events, sporting events, go to UWDB basketball games in St. Norbert, and it worked out relatively well. I had a lot of experiences while I was here, good, bad, and otherwise, and living here has been a good experience for me. Um, and I feel especially smart because I chose Green Bay out of all the other cities and towns in the United States, and then just a couple of years ago, the U.S. News and World Report picked Green Bay as the #1 city in the United States, and I was like, I knew this way before you guys and anybody else because I had done it myself. And I think that whenever you move somewhere, unless you have like a, a reason why you're going to go, like they give you a job, or your mom lives there, or your in-laws live there, whatever the reason, um, you should be thoughtful, and you should plan and think strategically when you move to a new city about what you're looking for, what you want, what they have, and if it's a good fit. And so for me, it worked out. I'll be actually leaving soon to go on to my next adventure, which hopefully is going to be just as great, and it's going to hopefully take me into the next phase of my life. I'm going to go to law school. I already have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, but now I'm going to hopefully go get a Juris Doctor and hopefully become a lawyer. And so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I wanted to talk about why I moved to Green Bay and how my experience was, and that's it. If you have any questions or comments about Green Bay, leave them down below, and I'll answer. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.